So we've had our Vive for a long time now, and rather than being a Wii-style gimmick being left to collect dust, it gets a lot of regular play in the office. Needless to say, we are huge fans of VR, meaning we are super happy to finally receive our PSVR, opening up to the masses. Having now had ample time to try both, we feel confident we can answer the question most often asked of us. Should I get a PSVR, or should I get a Vive? Let's start with comfort. The PSVR is considerably lighter than the Vive, which should be a plus for many. However, it is clearly designed with a wider audience in mind. We found that getting the snuggest fit was far more hassle than the Vive. The plastic circular tightener on the back feels very cheap, and it required far more adjustment during use than we get on the Vive. Using the flimsy rubber on the sides in comparison to the thick foam allowed a lot more air through, meaning the PSVR fogged up regularly until you managed to get the absolute perfect fit. The PSVR headset also resets to a default position when it's removed, meaning using it with multiple people or simply on repeat playthroughs means finding that sweet spot all over again, not something that you have to deal with on the Vive. So what about setting them up? That will honestly come down to your ability to use a drill in most cases. Both systems come with a connector box that you can leave somewhere so you can unplug the headset and put it to one side. However, the PS4 Pro does require the use of the camera, which means you're going to have double HDMI leads and lots of wires that need tucking away somewhere. Not a particular big deal if you're going to leave it plugged in permanently. Comparatively, the Vive requires the two light boxes, which can be left on a desk, but more appropriately, they're supposed to be attached to a wall. If you find that easier, I would say that the Vive has far less real estate needed, whereas the PlayStation 4 requires a lot more cabling. Onto the games then, and I'm sure like us, it was expected that the PSVR would run like complete arse, especially with the PS4 Pro coming so soon, but we were blown away with just how good the games look visually, and how extensive the launch library is on the PlayStation. I'm not sure what wizardry is being used, but the PSVR titles look equally as good as the best currently on offer with the Vive, despite the enormous power difference. We had no stuttering or noticeable frame drops in any game we tested. Entering the Batcave for the first time was simply incredible. On the other side, the Vive does have the advantage of new games coming out almost daily while the technology is still finding its feet. And obviously, most of the games are considerably cheaper per game than what you're getting on the PlayStation Store. It wouldn't take more than a few PlayStation purchases to catch up with the cost of a Vive. If it's more the AAA quality graphics all over that you're looking for, honestly, the PSVR is simply winning at the moment. So what about the immersion factor? This is the big one. It's sad really that the most crucial feature of VR is something that doesn't translate to video, and you can't avoid saying that you need to try it to understand it. The primary difference of course is the Vive's room scale, using the two sensors to map out a grid so you can move around anywhere within the space and interact with objects up high or on the floor. The PSVR actually does a really good job trying to match this if you pick up a pair of the 6-year-old PS Move controllers. It makes an enormous difference being able to stand and touch the environment, but it's also where the holes appear in the competition. The PSVR requires you to at least be facing the camera so it can see the controller's physical light source. We even had to darken the room so our hands didn't disappear in-game. And the environmental interaction is limited to things directly in front of you and basically waist height, or it all falls apart. Obviously, not everyone has the room available for room scale. A minimum of 1.5 by 2 meters is needed, and a few games actually need the full 3 by 3. So the PSVR does a decent job of bringing some of this freedom to the user. And now for the thing that's mostly the deciding factor for many, the price. So the Vive is still running at £800, $800 or €899 in comparison to the PSVR running at £350, $400 and €400 to €500 depending on your country. Bear in mind though that you'll need a decent PC for the Vive, and a PS4 and a PS4 camera, and optionally but probably required the PS Move controllers for the PlayStation. As we mentioned before, the PS4 Pro is coming, but ours doesn't actually get here for a while to test the difference. But I can say this, so far it doesn't need a PS4 Pro to play well. So the conclusion. We are totally impressed by what Sony has managed to put out. We genuinely expected something half as good as what our Vive gives, but for the most part, they're on par, if not better, especially with their launch titles. Batman, Riggs, and Resident Evil 7's demo The Kitchen are really, really good. Quick note here that Resident Evil 7 will also be out on the Vive though, so watch out for them crossovers. The PSVR is a great way to check out VR for a wider market. And if you already have a PS4, which many do, considerably more than Xbox One, then it is way, way cheaper than a Vive. The only drawback is that the foundation tech of the camera and the Move controllers is ancient in comparison to the experience it's giving, and it shows. The Vive for us is the superior choice long term, if, and only if, you can take advantage of room scale. VR is all about the immersion factor, and frankly, we believe that room scale plus the haptic feedback on the controllers, so it feels like you're actually holding something, offers an unmatched experience comparatively, which is the whole point of virtual reality. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you again. Bye bye.